We've been talking with Lori King McCracken about those programs, the program at BRMC called First Step, and with those that are going through alcohol, pain medication, some street drugs, going through medically assisted withdrawal.
Right.
I probably didn't say that quite
no,
right, but it's close enough. Okay. Work with me here, Lori. What? Now, we were talking during the break about the fact that BRMC's First Step program is so unique because you'll actually take couples.
We do.
They're not in the same.
All
of our rooms are private.
Right. We will take couples. Now, we're not going to guarantee that you're going to be on the same floor. Mm-hmm. And I can promise you that there is no visiting. That is one of our rules.
Mm-hmm.
With First Step is we don't allow visitors because it's an individualized service, and so we want each person to really focus on themselves, and we don't want them worrying about what so and so is doing down the hall. Mm-hmm. So if a couple does come in, they do need to be prepared to know they do have their own room. They can visit when they get out.
Right.
When they drive home, they can do all the talking they want.
Yeah.
But while they're in the hospital, they need to focus on themselves, and that's just with anyone that comes in. They're not allowed to have visitors because it is an individualized service.
Right. And now, is there education going on while the person is going through the 3-day?
Usually, there's not a lot of education or counseling. Of course, we're up in the rooms, throughout the day, talking with the patient. Even though nurses are in there, sometimes the nurses can't do all the extra running, and so we do, go in. Do you need this? Just making sure the patient's comfortable. And if the patient is going to a treatment facility afterwards, we always like to print out literature, so they kind of have a good idea and a feel
what they're walking
into.
They're into.
Pictures,
sure. Yeah.
Any kind of literature we can give them always makes them feel, not so nervous. And when the patient leaves, we give them a handful of papers, resource list. Anytime down the road, if you need a counselor, if you need, transportation, it's just kind of a guide to.
So you're not alone on this.
Right.
You've just gone through one small phase.
Right.
That you're just, yay for you because you got through those 3 days. You got through the withdrawal.
Right, but it's a life change. And I think with anyone that's going through suffering from an addiction, it's great that you start with us with First Step because we're the medical part of it. But I just feel like everyone needs some treatment afterwards, whether it's counseling. But I really recommend inpatient if anyone can go 30 days or if they're even able to go 6 months. And I know that sounds so harsh, 6 months, that's so long. But you think of how long has that individual
been doing drugs
or been drinking.
Yeah.
6 months is a fabulous time. I tell people just think like you're on vacation
for
6 months. No worries.
I love your approach to all of it, Lori.
There's no worries. You don't have to worry about taking care of anything at the house. Just let someone else take care of you and learn a new lifestyle.
And absolutely learn a new lifestyle and learn that you can cope with things in an entirely different manner.
Correct.
So, what was one you were talking about? There's Grace.
There's a treatment facility in around Paragould. It is called Grace Missions. It's more of a faith-based facility, and I know that probably scares a lot of people. Also, thinking, I'm going to have to go to church 10 times a day. It's not like that. These individuals, it's usually a minimal, very little cost to go because insurance doesn't pay for treatment. So usually the more long-term treatment facilities cost the least amount.
Okay.
Because they want these individuals to,
Yeah, why keep being repeat?
Right.
And
so the longer they stay, they feel like their success rate, which it is proven their success rate is a lot higher than someone who just goes for, 15 days, 30 days.
30 days, you're not going to change your friends. You're really not going to, and I don't mean to be trite about it. Look at just going the path of how many of us have said, I think of it this time of year with all our resolutions of dieting. Well, you're not going to change your behavior in just a couple of days.
No,
and even 30 is iffy.
30 days you can still slip and go eat that, that Twinkie at 10 o'clock at night. That
so the longer you go with the good behavior,
right, then
it just
the higher
makes sense.
success you're going to have on going down the right track. There's also a facility in Charlotte, which is close to Batesville. It's called John 316. It's more of a men's treatment facility. But they do a lot of community work, and they are huge around the community. They do catering, but they teach men life skills. So when they leave the
They've
treatment,
got something tangible.
yes, instead of doing drugs for selling drugs for the last 10 years or making moonshine or whatever you do with with alcohol, they've actually taught that man a trade where he can go out and reuse that out in the community. And then there's a facility they're all over the United States called Teen Challenge. And it's not just for teens, it's for all ages. And it's more about a year commitment program.
Wow.
It is.
Yeah. What are they doing during that year? I mean, are they certainly learning about themselves?
Right. And my understanding, there's counseling involved. There's a lot of one-on-one. There's group. And I'm not for sure everything. But just learning new day-to-day habits. A lot of people don't even realize what goes on in a day. Just the daily routine of, making sure the house is fine, the bills are paid.
They've been so buzzed for so long.
Yeah, bathing, just everyday life skills that we take for granted. A lot of these people just have kind of forgotten. So it's kind of just getting a whole new routine of life.
And like you'd said, though, it goes right across the spectrum. All ages, all incomes, all backgrounds.
And some people really don't need an extensive 6 months program. But then there's those who really do. Yeah. And
I bet can you share any of your stories with us? We know with our HIPAA regulations, we never, just kind of circumstances that were a little bit unusual, or not to put you on
Gosh, I know. I'm just trying to make sure I'm careful. I'm careful here.
Proceed with caution, Lori.
We had a gentleman, not from this area, so I feel pretty safe about that. In his early 50s, in terrific shape, but just kind of fell off the wagon and started drinking. A family man, very. I was shocked, everything he'd accomplished.
That he'd end up being a patient.
Yes, he'd retired from a great company. Wife was working for a huge company.
Super
just
successful,
someone that you would not ever. If you met him on the street, you would have had no idea that he had not only an alcohol problem, but also a prescription drug problem, and he was mixing them. And found out that his liver was failing. And he came to us, thought it was the best service ever.
Wonderful.
And then actually went on to another treatment in Little Rock.
Good. So that really can grab hold and be a success.
Correct. And he wasn't just
get the monkey
drinking,
off his back,
but he was mixing.
Yeah.
So he had two big battles to face, and doing very good.
And those are the success stories we love to hear.
Yes.
Yeah. First Step now has been in the hospital 3 years, 4 years?
We're going on 4 years. We started on 2008.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. And I know every year it grows and grows and grows as word of mouth, and as you said, the different marketing that you're using.
Correct.
And people are aware of the fact that, it's time. Do you have a lot of family intervention? Do you have calls that you're getting from family members?
We have tons of calls from family, and we always say, you can't handcuff them and throw them in the back of the car if you're going to roll them up in a rug, because it is an elective service. Because if they don't want to change, then you're just wasting your time, and it has to be that person is ready to make this life change, or you're just spinning your wheels. Now, when family members call, we give them the Al-Anon number. That's I've been told, a great support group for family members who are battling with their loved one. Living with their loved one who has a addiction.
Yeah. Oh my goodness! So the stories you can't tell. I know.
We could write a book and play every patient we have.
But, of course, it's all confidential, it's all private, and it's all treated certainly with a lot of professionalism, with true professionalism, and excellent patient care from the nurses and from your staff, and just wonderful. So I am so glad you came to join us today. We need to get the word out. First step, that number again, Lori?
It's 508-7590.
7590. And if you forget the number, you can always call the hospital number 508-1000 and ask for First Step. And if you've got a loved one that as you're watching this and you know that they really could use the help, it's time for a change. So pick up that phone, don't wait. There are people that absolutely are at the hospital willing to help your loved one change their lives, change the behavior, get off the pain medications, and stop the alcohol abuse and all that goes with that.
And if anyone just has questions they want to inquire, we can always mail them information out.
Okay. All right, so if you need information, not sure, First Step is a place that is a great resource for you that can help you learn more about addiction, where the Al-Anon classes are, all sorts of things. So, Lori, thanks so much for joining us today. I always love to have you on the show. It's been a while. We know the furniture has changed, so we know that it's been a while since Lori has been kind enough to come and join us. So, our best to you in the new year, dear.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you. Appreciate that. Join us again next time for BRMC's Healthy Connections. We'll see you again next week.